A very warm good morning to everyone. Greetings to the International Conference of Media and Communication 2 2024. I am Sayak, an assistant professor at the School of Media and Communication at Admas University and the convener of ICMC 2. It is my pleasure to host the inaugural session of the International Conference of Media and Communication 2 with my colleague and co-convener Noveena Chakravorty, an associate professor at the School of Media and Communication at Admas University.
Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guest, member of media, distinguished speaker, my dear colleagues, valued research scholars, and dear students. Welcome to International Conference of Media and Communication ICMC 2. This year, we have a very special theme, which is Media and Communication Research Contribution towards Sustainability Development Goals.
The Sustainable Development Goals, that are often referred as SDGs, are a set of 17 global goals established by the United Nations in the September 2015. The goals are part of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which was adopted by all 193 member states of the UN. The SDGs are designed to address a wide range of global challenges and guide efforts to achieve a more sustainable and equitable world by the year 2030.
The goals are no poverty, zero hunger, good health, well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water sanitization, affordable clean energy, distant work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduction of inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption of production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, strong institutions, and partnership for goals.
Absolutely. Now you must be wondering why we have kept this as the theme of this conference for this year. But if you look closely enough, we as media academicians and professionals can undoubtedly contribute to the sustainable development of the society. If not for all the 17 goals, we can definitely heavily contribute in the fields of quality education, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, reduce inequality, responsible consumption and production, climate action, and also peace, justice, and strong institution.
But why we should restrict ourselves in only these 7 goals? We can certainly contribute to all of them. And that's why media and communication is a multidisciplinary in nature.
Absolutely, I agree. This is why we have chosen SDGs as the theme of this year's conference to explore the possibilities of media and communication research, not only to maintain the sustainability, but also promote sustainability.
Now, on that note, I should start officially the program. The lamp, the diya, holds a great significance in various cultures around the world. It represents the triumph of light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance, good over evil. As we light up the lamp today, let us embrace the symbolic meaning it carries and allow its radiance to guide us on our collective journey.
Dear audience, now we will begin with the auspicious occasion. Now I would request our honorable guest, Professor K.G. Suresh sir, Vice Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal, to come up to the stage and do the honor.
And on that note, I would like to welcome Dr. Radha Tomal Goswami, Pro Vice Chancellor Academics, Dr. Sushant Kumar Mondal, Dean Academics, Professor Dr. Akash Deep Muni, Associate Dean, School of Media and Communication, Professor Debojyoti Chando, Professor Rabindra Bharati University, to join us on the stage. And along with, I would like to say, Naveen sir, please. Our Pro Vice Naveen sir, please come on the stage to lit up the lamp. Yes, Mr. Giri, please come on. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion, and that's the start.
Thank you, all the dignitaries. Now we should evoke the goddess of knowledge, which is essential, right? To begin any academic conference. Now we should also evoke the goddess of knowledge, wisdom, art, and music, Devi Saraswati, and seek her blessings to begin this conference. The students of SOMC would present Saraswati Vandana, followed by a dance performance to welcome the blessings of Goddess Saraswati to the conference.
I would like Noveena Chakravorty to come up on the stage.
सर्वका सर्वदा। गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि दन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय
Thank you so much, Shohini, for a wonderful performance. Now I would call our students for a group song, for a welcome song. Ayushi and team, can you please come up on the stage? There are many mics are there, please.
गणदैवताय गणाधीशाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि सजनी सजनी राधिका लो देख अब हो चाहिया सजनी सजनी राधिका लो देख अब हो चाहिया मृदुल गमन श्याम आवे मृदुल गान गाहिया सजनी सजनी राधिका लो देख अब हो चाहिया आनंद लोके मंगला लोके বিরাজো সত্য সুন্দর আনন্দ লোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজো সত্য সুন্দর গ্রহ তারক চন্দ্র তপন ব্যাকুল দ্রুত বেগে করিছে পান করিছে স্নান অক্ষয় কিরণে আনন্দ লোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজো সত্য সুন্দর বিরাজো সত্য সুন্দর বিরাজো সত্য সুন্দর থ্যাংক ইউ
Wonderful, wonderful, my dear students. Definitely, we end up with a tone of tinge of Bengali with our culture to welcome our guest from a different state. And on that note, I would like to ask our volunteer to put up 5 chairs on the stage so that our dignitaries can take their seat. So, volunteers, can you please help us?
Volunteers, request volunteers to bring the chairs on the stage and a table.
Sayak? Oh, it's not. Yes, yes. Shushanto sir, kindly. Yes. On that note, I would like to welcome our organizing secretary, our Dr. Akash Deep Muni, the Associate Dean. Kindly escort our esteemed guest on the stage. On that note, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Professor Dr. K.G. Suresh, on the dais, Professor Debojyoti Chandra, Rabindra Bharati University, Dean Academics, and our Pro Vice Chancellor, Sir Radha Tomal Goswami, sir, please come on the dais. Professor Shushanto Kumar Mondal, sir. And on the special note, Naveen, sir, please give us a round of applause. We need another chair. Sir, take this. To begin with the session, I would like to call our organizing secretary, our associate dean, Professor Dr. Akashdip Muni, to start the inaugural with the varieties what we are doing in ICMC and will throw some light. Here you are.
Good morning to all of you present here. First of all, I must congratulate all the people involved in the conduction of this conference, especially the convener and co-conveners, Mr. Sayak Pal, Ms. Noveena and Dr. Sharmila, who had been the catalyst behind this particular conference. Dignitaries on the dais. First, I want to thank Professor Shomit Ray, Honorable Chancellor, Admas University, Professor Suranjan Das, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Adamas University, Professor Radhatamal Goswami sir, Professor Naveen Das sir, Professor Sunsanta Mondal, Professor Abhijit Giri, and mostly I want to thank Professor Dr. K.G. Suresh sir, the Vice Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi University, to be here physically, having him physically here is an achievement for Adamas University today. And especially Professor Devjyoti Chanda. Devjyoti sir, thank you for being here. Having two stalwarts of the media world here in ICMC 2 has been an achievement for us. Now I have something to say before I set the tone. Heartiest congratulations to everyone present here on the conduction of International Conference of Media and Communication. Now, for the next 25 years, the heights that Adamas University will touch in that the scientific and research community of Admas University will play a big role. In research, when with passion we add feelings of service towards our university and our nation, then we get unthinkable results. I'm sure that the scientific community of Adamas University will reach new heights in 21st century. I also want to tell you the reason behind my faith and my trust. We all know that observation is one of the most important basis of scientific research. Then we follow the patterns of observation, analyze them, and reach suitable conclusions. In this process, collection of data and analyzing it is the most important factor. In 21st century India, we have two things in huge magnitude, that is, first is data and second is technology, facilitated by our university. With the field of data analysis growing, it enables transforming information into insight and analysis into actionable data. Be it traditional knowledge or modern technology, both provide a significant basis of communication research today. Therefore, today we can see Adamas University is reaching new heights of research, especially in the field of communication and data. 6 months ago, we conducted a media research workshop to enable young researchers of our university to publish their papers in Scopus/WOS index journals. I'm happy to inform you that my scholar Dowell and many of scholars of different supervisors here in Admas University published their papers in Scopus index journals. I want to name the journal Migration Letters, a Scopus Q2 journal and a UGC listed journal. Like this, many other scholars from different other universities also published their papers after our workshop. The way Adamas University is growing in research and innovation, soon we will be the #1 university of this country in research and innovation. Colleagues, I'm happy that the focus of today's conference is also on the topic which is the most talked about globally. The future of the whole world is safe with sustainable development only. You relate sustainable development to communication and women empowerment today through this conference. Today, the focus of this conference is not only how women empowerment can be done through communication for a sustainable world, but also how empowered women can contribute to sustainable communication and media today. At the School of Media and Communication, Admas University, in the last 6 months, starting from student development to industry connect, we have done such extraordinary work which is being talked about throughout this country. Be it conduction of our Media Fest expressions, in which 336 participants from 29 universities took part, or an MOU with PRCI, or student exchange program with AIUB Bangladesh, or media literacy abhiyan, in which we adopted 2 villages and we are trying to make them media literate, or in industry placements. The participation of women in all these initiatives rose to new heights. Research is successful when it impacts from lab to land, from global to grassroots. This motivates young researchers who feel that their work can bring changes in the life of the common man of this country. I request the researchers who are going to present their papers today to create a platform for young researchers who wish to contribute to the development of the nation and provide innovative solutions to the country's problems. Under leadership of Honorable Chancellor Professor Suresh Sir and Professor Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Suranjan Das, we are on a mission to make Adamas University the fulcrum of research and innovation in India. And with this, I want to thank you all for being a part of this international conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your powerful words and loud about SOMC School of Media Communication. On that note, I would like to welcome on the stage Professor Noveena Das, Sir, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Training and Placement. Kindly welcome him on the stage to share a few words. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Noveena ma'am. Good morning to all of you, my dear students, most importantly, who are here in such large numbers in spite of some of the classes going on, I'm sure. A hearty welcome to Professor Suresh and Professor Chando to have graced this occasion and making us proud. Thanks to Professor Muni, whose able hands, I'm sure, would take this institute, this school, to greater heights in the days to come. Well, certain things are always beyond the syllabus or outside of the syllabus, as some things might appear, like my addressing you today was not in the syllabus, was not planned. But anyway, uh, as unplanned things might look, there are always certain things which are important and to be stressed at every point in life, just like the role of press or the independence of the press. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember that as a child, a school-going child, maybe in my early teenage years, I had read an article on the freedom of press. Later on, I have tried the net so many times to get the article, but till now I have failed. The freedom of press, possibly it must have been written by someone like Dorothy Sayers, I'm not very sure. I know Muni sir is trying to search. I had also searched earlier. So here, for the first time, I came across this term called yellow journalism. For the first time as a child, my imagination captured the role, the human role that free press plays in a society. Particularly in a society like India, today when I look back, from those days onwards, I think the society has grown. We have developed, so to say. We have now myriads of channels, myriads of media to communicate. In fact, some scholars, they say that we are living in an over-communicated society. From morning till evening, if you look at the number of communications or the stimuli that hit us, we must be living in an over-communicated society. How many of us actually have the time to pause and think where we are heading? How many of us have the time to pause our scrolling and listen to somebody on the podium? And that is the problem the world is facing today because of this myriad of communication channels and vehicles. In an over-communicated society, there are fewer people to listen, ponder, and more people to talk. The invocation song and the dance, actually we gave our salutations to Lord Ganesha, and people say that we must all be like Ganesha, with long ears to perceive and listen and perhaps talk less. The theme of today and tomorrow's international conference, I'm so happy that we have reached the second year or the second edition of this conference, and I hope that in the days to come, we will be organizing this in a much bigger and better and more international, more global way. The theme is of sustainable development and how that is impacted through communication and media. So sustainable development goals, as the name implies, at the core of these goals is the sustainability of this world. The world would not be sustainable if the freedom of press is not restored. In this post-truth era, what is freedom? Whose freedom are we talking about? Is it the owner's freedom that we are talking about? Is it the communication channel members' freedom we are talking about? Is it those victims or the perpetrators whose freedom we are talking about? I think these are the crucial questions that all of us must answer. And an educated people, it is up to us to interpret and take this freedom to real heights. In this land, in this holy land, we have seen Gandhi, whose freedom of speech perhaps was crucial in molding the nation and molding the fate of this nation. It is in this holy land that we have seen two people, obviously one belonging to this nation as an outsider, but the other belonging to Nepal, whose commitment to achieve a goal saw them summit the highest peak in the world. So commitment, trust, as well as the goal that we have in our mind. Just imagine a president of India saying and just committing that we would reach our man, an American, in the moon before the end of the decade. What an goal. What a goal and what a commitment. If freedom of press has to be restored, each one of us, citizens of this country, have to take care of the goals that medium and the communication has. Somewhere society making, somewhere reforming the society, somewhere making good for the society must be the ultimate goal, rather than the petty intentions of any of the stakeholders. And I repeat, if medium and communication restores or takes care of the petty means of any of the stakeholders, then perhaps it would be distorted. Having said that, people say that press should always try to be a watchguard or watchdog. Whose watchdog? Again, the crucial question, whose watchdog is media? Whose watchdog should the communication take care of? With these questions in your mind, and I'm sure the next 2 days there would be expositions, discourses, which would definitely answer many of these questions. I take your leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the words. We all always cherish, and we will all feel like listening to you for hours and hours, your wisdom. On the same note, I would now like to request Professor Dr. Radha Tamal Goswami, Pro Vice Chancellor Academics, to come up on the stage and address the gathering, sir. Please.
Professor Suresh from Vice Chancellor Makhanlal Chaturvedi, University of Mass Communication and Journalism, Bhopal. Professor Devajyoti Chando, Rabindra Bharati University, if I'm not wrong. I met him a few days back at Raj Bhavan during a program of Vikshit Bharat. Other dignitaries, my colleagues, Professor Muni, the Associate Dean for the Department, the School for Media, Professor Mondol, Dean Academics, Professor Noveena Das, and Mr. Giri. And my dear colleagues in School of Media, and each and every, my students are also here. Another dean is also sitting, Professor Sharkar is also sitting over here. Another dean also attended. So once again, on behalf of entire Adamas University, let me welcome to guest and thankful to the Vice Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi University for giving us time, because I could see few days back when they planned these things, they have a plan to call you, and ultimately it happened. We are talking about the theme of the conference, what is the conference meant for? We are organizing different schools are organizing conferences. Actually, myself and Professor Das was talking about, it would be very great then when you merge the conference, suppose one school is organizing but other schools participation is also very much required, because nowadays we cannot stand only with the one department on one school. All are interlinked, because when the conference is, there are the certain topics being selected, and there one point was there that is not limited to. Professor Muni was talking about the Scopus Index Journal and these things. We should be very focused. Now students are here. You start working with your faculty from the very early days, whenever you will be joining this your school or your university, because when you go back, because some of the students, when they will be applying for any higher studies, your CV would be enriched, not only your marks and other details, but obviously what are the papers you have published, how many researches you have done. So that actually gives you that creates a weight of your CV. Now we are talking about this sustainable development nowadays. This is the theme of this. What is sustainable development? During these 2 days of journey, you will develop certain things. Sustainable development actually deals with the needs to support the present scenario without compromising the future generation needs. So that means what is present, whatever your tangible one you can create. So this is actually aim of any conference. And another the important point is the networking. What you are doing, that needs to be showcased, so that the outer world, other institutes get to know what the students, faculties are doing, and they get to know each other. So I hope during these 2 days of conference, you will definitely come out with this kind of note. And you listen, the students, this is very important for you to listen to the what are the recent trends in this one. Now your schools is organizing this one, so you must know what media, mass communication, journalism is actually stands now, and what is being there and future trends, as well as what is there working in other top institute. I think the two of the stalwarts here, those who are in this field, so definitely they during their talk, during their engagement, they will definitely deliver some of the good things which will carry forward, and you can take away, that would be your takeaway. With this note, once again, my best wishes to the conference. I wish the conference a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for always stood behind us, all thick and thin. Thank you, Naveen, sir, for accepting us. We need paper. You don't need a paper for a wonderful speech. Thank you so much. Well, on that note, now it's turn to our guest, and I would like to request my co-convener, Dr. Shamila Kayal, to come here, and I will ask our Pro-Vice Chancellors and Associate Dean, Professor Dr. Akashdeep Muni and Dr. Radha Tamal Goswami, to felicitate our guest along with you, Utturi and a memento, sir, to our chief guest, KG Suresh, sir. Give him a round of applause. Now I would like to welcome Professor Debojyoti Chando and Dr. Shamila Clark. Please help us to felicitate. There's only Dean Academics, sir, and Mr. Giri, kindly. Yes. Thank you so much. Well, now is a turn, a person. Now, in academics, we cannot utter this word or cannot utter this word that is a showstopper. No, it's a person who's a wonderful spectator and an orator. And on that note, I would like to request our chief guest, Professor Dr. KG Suresh, Vice Chancellor, Makhan Lal Chaturvedi, National University of Journalism and Mass Communication, Bhopal. And before handing over the baton, I would must say and share his legacy a little bit. Apart from his an esteemed Vice Chancellor of a repute of institute, Makhan Lal Chaturvedi, National University of Journalism and Mass Communication. He is the former Director General of Indian Institute of Mass Communication, founder Dean, School of Modern Media, University of Petroleum and Energy Study, UPSC, Dehradun, a senior journalist, communication strategist, and a recipient of prestigious Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi Award for his outstanding contribution to journalism by Government of India. He also has an extensive experience working with Doordarshan, Asianet Network, PTI. Welcome, sir. We are eagerly want to listen to you and hear your stages, and feel free. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation within a very short point of time. Thank you so much for considering us.
Thank you so much, Noveena. I, first of all, would like to, I'm told, I don't know whether this is a blended mode, so I'm sure that Professor Samit Ray, the Honorable Chancellor of Adamas University, Professor Suranjan Das, Vice Chancellor of Adamas University, Professor Radha Tamal Goswami, Pro Vice Chancellor, We also had Professor Noveena Das, Pro Vice Chancellor. My friend, Professor Devojyoti Chanda. Another young friend, Professor Akashdeep Muni. I was on his board of studies when he was at the lovely professional university in Punjab. So he has traveled from Punjab to Bengal. So, and we have Professor Abhijit Giri, Director Placement, and Professor Sujoy Bhattacharya, Dean, and esteemed faculty members, research scholars, and dear students. I would be failing in my duty if I don't mention, Dr. Shamila Kayal and Dr. Noveena Chakravorty. She doggedly followed me. I mean, she pursued it like an investigative journalist, and she made really, life impossible for me. She said, "You have to come," and I must give her full marks for bringing me here. And Dr. Sayak, who was there past midnight, last night, to receive me at the airport. And honestly, after all that, taking that tedious journey, I feel very fresh before you. I'm really happy to be part of this because I'm here in two capacities. Apart from being a chief guest, I'm also here as an academic partner. Makhanlal Chaturvedi University is an academic partner in this conference. Another academic partner is the Global Media Education Council, and I happen to be its president. So I'm here in different capacities today. So I thought that I should come here. I also, of course, always have a special place in my heart for Kolkata, because this is the place of my great-grandparents. My great-grandfather was a renowned artist and guru of Uday Shankar and Ravi Shankar in performing arts. My grandfather was Professor of Fine Arts at the Rabindra Bharati University. So I have very strong links with Kolkata, and it's always a pleasure coming back to the city of my great-grandparents. And coming to this very important conference, I must congratulate the Admas University for organizing this conference. I've not physically visited this beautiful university earlier. In fact, Professor Noveen we came together in the cart, and he was saying that you have been here, because I have been on so many of your platforms earlier. So I'm sure that some people do feel that I've been here earlier, but that was another reason that I've been part of many of your online sessions, particularly during the Corona period when Ujjwalda was here, and I always wanted to visit this beautiful university. So here I am. I don't know whether this was a deliberate or it's a coincidence, but since nobody mentioned about it, I thought that because the younger generation here, do you know the significance of today? Today is Journalism Day, Modern Indian Journalism Day, 29th of January. It was on this day, 244 years back, in 1780, that James Augustus Hickey published the Bengal Gazette or the Calcutta General Advertiser for the first time. So it's a very historic day on which this is being organized. So I'm sure that the organizers must have had it in their plans, but maybe it was not mentioned. Maybe they left it to me to mention this. This city also has of course played a very important role during the freedom struggle, but particularly in the evolution of the Indian press. It was on this day, on May I mean, it was on May 13 in 1826, almost 50 years, 46 years after what Hickey brought out his Bengal Gazette, that the first Hindi newspaper, Udant Martand, was published from this very city, and it was edited by Pandit Jugal Kishore Shukla. To this day, it is celebrated not only as a Hindi Patrakarita Divas, but also as a Narada Jayanti across India. So Kolkata holds a very important place, particularly for students of journalism. We tend to forget history, so we should not forget our very glorious history of media and Kolkata's contribution, Bengal's contribution to Indian journalism. Even today in my own university, which is Asia's first and India's largest media university, I would just briefly say a couple of sentences because most of you are new to it. We are based out of Bhopal, and the Chancellor of the university is the Honorable Vice President of India, and we have 5 campuses, 1,600 affiliated colleges, and a student population of over 2 lakhs. And today in journalism, our students are there in almost every media house. Now, we are also establishing a museum or a newseum in memory of Pandit Jugal Kishore Shukla. So that would be our Kolkata link, and our link to Hindi journalism. Journalism, as I said, that many people, we have had a long checkered history of communication in this country. Journalism, of course, started with the publication of the first journal, first newspaper, weekly newspaper, the Bengal Gazette. But communication, a lot of people refer to Devrishi Narad as the first communicator. We have in our history, in our traditions, in our culture, what Sanjaya did in Mahabharata, where it was virtually like a live telecast of what was happening in the Battle of Kurukshetra, the Mahabharat war, where he was like a journalist explaining everything to King Dhritarashtra without any bias or prejudice. He was giving a live commentary on what was happening there. And we have had a tradition, centuries of tradition of dialogue, of inquisitiveness, of questioning. This has been there in our genes for a long time. You talk about the Yaksha Yudhishthira conversation, the dialogue between Yama and Nachiketa, the dialogue between Adi Shankara and Mandana Mishra, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. It is all asking questions and getting answers. So we have had the centuries, thousands of years of tradition of asking questions, coming with answers. So maybe it was not journalism per se, but the very important aspects of critical thinking and problem solving were always there in our traditions. And we are today at the crossroads. Today, thanks to technology, we are, we have democratized and decentralized media. Of course, it has come with its flip side also, which Professor Noveena was referring to. That the attention spans have reduced from several minutes to a few seconds. And a lot of people under the garb or guise of citizen journalism, I have a problem with that term, because we don't have citizen doctors, we don't have citizen engineers, we don't have citizen architects. Why should we have citizen journalists? They can be citizen communicators. But journalism is a profession where training is required. It's not just about using mobile phones. It's not just about using internet. It's about the Constitution of India. It's about our rights and responsibilities. It's about the right to information. It's about the fundamental rights. So anybody carrying a mobile phone just cannot be a journalist. So we need to talk about these things. I'm glad that the international conference, because I've been told that I have to confine my address because I would be later on participating in a plenary session also. So this is the inaugural session, to keep it to the minimum. So I will just raise just a couple of points before Now, please understand that this conference is looking at various dimensions of media and mass communication, sustainable development goals, and a lot of very important aspects. I want you to understand, particularly I hear a lot of youngsters saying that journalism is dead. I honestly don't agree with this. Then I better close down my university, you better close down your School of Journalism and Communication. I am on the jury of so many prestigious awards, including the Ramnath Goenka Award for Excellence in Journalism by Indian Express. I am on the Ladli Media Awards. And the kind of entries that I see, whether it is in the broadcast category and the print category, it's just awesome. The kind of stories youngsters are doing. So if you're saying that journalism is dead, then you are not reading the right content, you are not watching the right content, then you are not listening to the right content. There is a problem. The problem is at our end, because a lot of good journalism is happening in Bangla, in Marathi, in Malayalam, in Hindi, but we are only reading few papers which are, having their own specific agendas. So it's important that, and particularly the students of journalism, I would like to tell them, please make it a habit to read one language newspaper. Because language journalism is actually grassroots journalism. I'm not at all critiquing or condemning English language journalism. I'm a student of English literature. I cannot do, I did my entire journalism in English only. But I still believe that we are a little elitist. We are not as grassroots as the language media is. So please make it a point, whichever language you come from, whichever linguistic background you come from, please make it a habit to read one language paper, listen to one language podcast or broadcast every day, because you get a lot of stuff there, which is related to the grassroots. I also believe that, I hope that this conference is going to talk about the different dimensions of communication today, the power of how to harness the power of social media, whether it is sustainable development goals or media literacy. I'm glad that you have adopted some villages. Media literacy is the need of the hour. Maybe I'll speak on some other occasion, because I'm passionate about it. I believe that there is a need for a national media literacy mission. And I think that whether it is community radio or community newspapers, they can play a very critical role in taking development journalism forward. And I wish to, I think I've taken more than my, allotted time, but I really hope that the International Conference on Media and Communication, the second edition we are witnessing here, will become a must attend on the international media calendar. It would, given the passion of its organizers and the commitment of the university and the school, I'm sure that in the coming days, this conference will be, people would be looking forward to participating in it. The deliberations here should be documented, brought out in book forms, in the form of research papers, and I'm sure that they would give an Indian perspective also to media and media education across the globe, because so far we have been talking only, looking at only the Western concepts of communication. It is high time, given the emphasis of the government under the National Education Policy on Indian knowledge systems, we should give the Indian perspective also to the global audience. On that note, thank you so much for inviting me. It's really an honor and pleasure to be in Kolkata. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for standing beside us in all thick and thin. And definitely, I would understand the importance of vernacular language, being born and brought up in a Hindi state and speaking throughout all the time English, not from convent, and coming and working in a state, Bengal, which is not in our domain. So I understand the power of language and how language can bring into, and especially, and really you are enlightened us, though it was in subconscious of mine, the 29th importance of 29th of January, but we didn't try to mix up with sustainable development goal and journalism, and we took media as a very whole, including each and every journalism, media, and a kind of cinema, to all kind of that journalism that we speak, not only that part of entertainment as well. Thank you so much for your wonderful words, but in that we should have to go a little bit in the past for ICMC1, how we started. I would like to call my co-convener Sayak Pal, just throw some light on it.
Thank you. It was great to listen to you, sir. And I must say, media and communication is multidisciplinary in nature. So it is actually imbibing other disciplines and other subjects into it. So now coming back to our ICMC 1, I'm glad to share that the ICMC 1 had a conference proceeding, and the name was New Media Landscape in India, Dimensions, Issues, Trends and Future. I would also like to call the editor, another editor, Dr. Sharmila Koyal on the stage. And the most important part was KG Suresh sir has written the foreword of this book.
And that's the latest ISBN last year.
Dr. Koyal, please come up on the stage. So this year also, we are going to come up with another version for ICMC 2 with the grace of Sir and with the grace of Almighty.
Thank you. So I would like to call KG sir and three of the editor of ICMC. So hand over the book. Sir, come. Thank you so much, sir. On that note, I would like to call our Dean Academic, Professor Dr. Sushanta Kumar Bondal, to throw some light, as he has a class, so he was constantly reminding me. I cannot forget his contribution, because when we were starting ICMC 1, he was stood behind us like a wall and supported us like anything. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Noveena. Our esteemed guest, Professor Suresh, Professor Chanda, and our own Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Goswami, and Dr. Muni on the dais, and of the dais, Professor Sarkar and Professor Naveen Das, who has left due to his class assignments, and Professor Sujay Bhattacharya also due to some important meeting, and all the organizers. Since as Noveena just reminded me regarding the last year ICMC 1, they had done everything, they have prepared everything, but at that time what happened? Their leader was left. So they were just thinking how to manage, how to conduct this ICMC, that conference, how to get all the finance, everything. Then I voluntarily took the charge that, okay, don't worry, your leader's dean has left, so as a Dean Academics, I took the responsibility that your conference will be conducted smoothly, and we did it. And I also pressurized them that once the conference is done, you have to publish it as a conference proceedings. And right now I have seen that things they have done it. And these times also they can do it, because right now we have tie-up with the Springer publications. So, and Springer is a, you can see a big one, and all are the Scopus indexed. Automatically all proceeding articles will be there. And specifically for this importance of this conference, as you know, the conference is all the researchers come together and share their knowledge. Specifically all the students who are the undergraduate students, for postgraduate and the research scholars, it is obviously they will do the research. But right now under NEP 2020, you might be knowing that this is course, those who are in the first year, they are admitted under 4-year undergraduate program. And the last year, they have the opportunity that they can go for the research, and after getting that 4-year degree honors with research, they can directly go for their PhD work. No need to go for masters like that. So this research inculcation into the mind of our undergraduate students, I hope that they will be involved more and more by their teachers to that. Another part of this conference importance also, that as you know that under NEP 2020 also we are emphasizing experiential learning. This will be also as a part of your experiential learning. And in our academics evaluation part, in subject evaluation part, you might be knowing that in our comprehensive and continuous assessment, there is a part of that 20 marks we have assigned for your experiential learning. And this will also be one kind of that things. And I hope that the students, they will get to the updated research topics in which the world is doing the research. And I wish you best, all the organizers and the students, I wish the best for the success of this event. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Without your help and as well as Radhatama sir's help, this ICMC 1 and 2 would not be possible for us to conduct. I'm sure we will keep on having your blessings and help from the upcoming years for all the conference series that we are going to conduct from the school. Now on the same note, I would request our very special guest, Professor Dr. Debajyoti Chandra, Professor, Rabindra Bharati University, to come up to the stage and address the gathering. Please.
Professor K.G. Suresh, Professor Radha Tamal Goswami, my esteemed colleagues in the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism, Dr. Muni, Noveena ma'am, Sharmila ma'am, all of you, and my dear students. The moment I entered the university, I could feel the vibe of this conference, because it displayed the kind of meticulous planning that you have made to make this conference a success. I was part of this conference last year also, although in online mode. So I feel very good. Adamas University over the years have grown, and I want to thank the Chancellor Sir and Vice Chancellor Sir for the wonderful infrastructure that they have put up for this university. I'm sure this conference will be, this is the second phase of the conference, and this will be a meeting point. Journalism is a professional subject, and this conference will, over time, will become a very important meeting point for academics and professionals and students who will come together and discuss issues which are coming up. Journalism is a growing and a changing profession. Whenever we talk about journalism and media these days, we talk about technology. The harping of constant theme is technology. But journalism is not about technology. It is not only about AI and all the things that are happening in the world of technology, but it is also a lot to do with people. And therefore, when you have decided to make sustainable development as your focal theme of this conference, I felt good because my PhD research was on self-help groups and development communication, and how communication plays a very important catalytic role in the process of development. Sustainable Development Goals, when it was set up when leaders from across the world met at the United Nations and they set up the Sustainable Development Goals, which Sayak was talking about some time ago, a lot of difficulty has come in the way, especially when we have had this COVID pandemic. To reach these goals by 2030 has not been an easy task, and resources are plenty. But how these resources are being shared, how sub-Saharan Africa, how large parts of Asia, in the Gulf region also, where there is a lot of richness and there is a lot of resources, still human conflict, other kinds of tragedies, climate change, these are constant challenges which policy planners are facing in enabling us reach these sustainable development goals. And communication plays a very, very important part, a part of a catalyst, a role of a very important stakeholder in this process of development and in reaching this goal. Over the years, journalism as a profession is changing, and our subject discipline is also changing. It has become it was journalism before, then it became journalism and mass communication. Today we are talking about media studies. It is not about only print journalism. We have so many sub-disciplines within this broad subject, and the students have today got the opportunity to pick up a lot of areas, from film to advertising to public relations to very niche areas like political communication or development communication. These are very, very important areas, and research and development in these areas need to be focused upon, and conferences like this, ICMC 2, will definitely help us look into these very important areas where research scholars are delving into. I understand that a lot of very important people who are working in this area will be joining this conference physically and also through online mode. And these 2 days will be very important for all of us, where we will be joining. I'll be chairing a session tomorrow. And I want to personally thank the organizers for calling me over here and meeting all of you. The next 2 days will be very exciting. I thank you once again. Thank you.
Rather officially, we can say that today now we are starting the Festival of Academics. Normally, we celebrate festivity just like आज पढ़ा होबे ना, so we are just starting that, कि आज থেকে পড়াশোনা হবে and research হবে. So that kind of festival that we are starting, and media plays a pivotal role in the shaping of public opinion and influencing policy decisions. Today we will explore how media can be catalyst for positive changes by amplifying SDGs, promoting awareness and holding stakeholders accountable. And we invite all the media actively and engage in discussion, contribution to the global dialogue and sustainable development.
While we celebrate our success, it is imperative to acknowledge the challenges that still persist. Whether it's addressing climate change, ensuring equality and quality education, or promoting responsible consumption, our journey towards sustainable development is riddled with obstacles. Our speakers today will shed light on these challenges and propose potential solutions.
On that note, we'll start our next plenary session, and on that note, we are ending with that. I would like to welcome my colleague and the very important co-convener, Dr. Sharmila Kayal, to give a concluding note to the inaugural program. Thank you so much.
A very good morning to one and all, respected dignitaries, my dear colleagues, and dear students. It's not a concluding remark to the ICMC 2, rather it's an initiation, introductory part of mine. The very theme of ICMC 2 has been brainstormed with, best of the mind, and we thought that contribution towards sustainable development goals is a key factor to be for any conference, in recent times. So for Adamas University School of Media and Communication, we have initiated to ponder on the various aspects of sustainable development goals. And as KG Suresh sir has, best of he opined that 29th of January is a remarkable day in the history of journalism in India. And sir, that is why we have put 29th and 30th of January 2024. To start with this new year, School of Media and Communication thought that it should start with the brainstorm with the intellectuality, the best of the capability to think more and more about the contribution towards sustainable development goals. There are various key themes are there, and there are 46 papers across the country, and out also we have received the paper. 29 institutes, universities and media academics participated in ICMC 2. There will be 6 technical sessions, and after following open panel discussion. In open panel discussion, there are plenaries, speakers from Pennsylvania State University, American International University of Bangladesh, Gujarat University, Mysore University, and Manipal University, Dubai. And the technical session, there are distinguished, all the session chairs are the respected professors of media and communication study, and session chair were the associate professor, and the moderator were the assistant professor and the media academics. So I heartily welcome you all to ICMC 2. I wish we will all brainstorm and we shall feel the depth of SDGs research in media and communication, how communication is the key to achieving sustainable development goals. And rightly Noveena said that to overcome and to eradicate the barrier or the obstacles which is there for the sustainable development goals. I, along with my co-conveners and my dear faculty members as the organizing committee, I initiate this ICMC 2, and now we are heading towards open panel discussion. Thank you so much.